Hello, and welcome back. I have missed you so much. I was gone in Italy for a whole entire month with my husband in September, which was so amazing. But I really have missed my writing routine and I've missed creating. And so I am just very excited to be home and to create content and start the next phase of writing my first novel. Which brings me to what I want to talk about today in this video, which is 3 tips to help you overcome writer's block, to help you get out of whatever is keeping you stuck and preventing you from writing creatively, and to just help you actually start writing and creating. And maybe you've tried to write things in the past, maybe you've started but never finished, or you don't know where to start. Maybe you keep hitting a wall, but I want to talk about 3 things that I think will help you turn your creative writing power back on. You will get out of feeling stuck and overthinking and waiting and wishing and wondering to actually writing and bringing your ideas to life and putting those words on paper, which is really the goal. Especially if you have experienced writer's block, I think that is extremely important, is to actually start writing. I'm so excited to talk about this because for me, when I was able to overcome my writer's block and write the rough draft of my first ever novel, I became so much more confident, so much more energized. I felt alive and excited and so empowered. And I just want you to experience that too. I want every single woman who has the dream of writing, has the gift of writing, to use it and experience how amazing it feels. So let's get right into the video. And I keep looking here because I have some notes. I just want to help you bring back that creativity and get your momentum going, which leads into the first tip, which is decide and move. Well, I think this one probably is maybe the most important to start. So if you're like me, you probably have been wanting to write for a really long time. I always did want to write. I've always had that desire to tell stories and use writing and words creatively. I was a creative writing major, and then when I would try and go and write, like half the time I would stop, half the time I wouldn't finish, and a lot of that was second guessing myself. But if you have that desire in you and you feel that pull, then it starts with deciding and then moving. This might sound simple, but it wasn't for me. It was actually really huge. I hadn't made that inner energetic shift to say that I was ready to write. It was an internal thing that I hadn't actually truly decided to use this gift and to just pursue it and to listen to that creative call. And I just got sick and tired of it, of waiting, of thinking about it, journaling about it, taking classes about it, reading about it, and having all these ideas but doing nothing with them. That's just such a bad feeling and really suppresses, especially for women, like it really suppresses your feminine energy because we're meant to create. And if you have that call to create through writing, then you have to write. And I wasn't writing and it felt terrible. And yet something was holding me back. And I thought I wanted it, but really I hadn't made that decision yet. You have to get to that point where your soul is just on fire, excited to do this, and you're done not doing it. Like, I wanted to write so bad that I just decided to get over my blocks and just do it. That doesn't mean that I don't have blocks. That doesn't mean that I don't have things that I'm working through. And that's exactly why I'm starting this channel, is to talk about that, because I'm actively overcoming and walking through those things. So once you've decided that you are sick and tired of waiting, that you are sick and tired of holding all these brilliant, amazing, creative ideas inside of you and doing nothing with them, or silencing them, then you move. Once I decided that I was done waiting and that I was going to write my first book, I was writing every day. And before I knew it, I had written my almost 90,000 word rough draft in a month and a half. This was after over a decade of wanting to write a book. And maybe you can relate because waiting that long, it's just not a good feeling. And once I decided that I wasn't doing that anymore, I created that momentum. I think that is so important, more important than any kind of perfectionism or plan or strategy. Giving yourself that momentum is so crucial, especially if you're coming out of a blocked creative state. I just decided I'm going to write every day and invest and pour into this no matter what the outcome is of each writing session. I'm going to breathe this into life and put my focus and intention on it and build that momentum and energy. I love this point because anyone can do it and you don't need to do it perfectly. It's kind of like working out. You just have to start. You have to create movement consistently to build that momentum. And that is so much more powerful than having one perfect writing day or one perfect workout. You show up, you create the momentum with your writing, and just keep doing it. You just keep your focus and intention on it. And that kind of leads me into tip number two, which is embrace the mess. And it's perfect that I kind of messed that up. It can be so scary to start because you're going to realize pretty quickly that creating is just a very messy, chaotic, raw thing to do. And I got very freaked out by this at first, like by how messy my rough draft was getting, because I had a deadline set for myself. In order to do that, I was gonna have to be writing a lot more than I ever had in years and years. I had to get over my desire for it to look like a New York Times bestseller. This was way harder than I thought it would be, but also so important for me to do. I think there was a lot of like really important inner work in allowing it to be messy and just like I'll just holding that pose of creating and maybe not loving what you wrote that day, or seeing all the typos, seeing all the plot holes, realizing how you don't know everything that will happen in your story, or you still have to figure out this, and that. Those things are going to come up, especially if you're writing a book like me, which I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm writing a fantasy novel with some romance in there. I'm so excited about it, but as I started to actually write, not just think about it, but actually do the writing, I quickly learned how messy creating can be. That can be so scary as a first-time creator, and even more scary if you have dealt with writer's block. But you have to do it. You can't skip the mess if you want to get to the creation. You need to be able to hold that and expand your capacity to hold imperfection and really see it and just accept it and love it and lean into it, because you can't build momentum and decide if you are still trying to stay perfect and safe and flawless. And also, it's just stepping into the unknown of, I don't know what's going to happen with this book. I don't know what else I'm going to need to finish it. I don't know how long it's going to take me, and I don't know if it will even be any good. All of those things are very normal fears and doubts and thoughts to have, and even that is part of the mess. all of your thoughts, all the emotions that are coming up as you step into this, all of that feels messy too. Because again, as women, as creative women, like it's all happening, it's all interconnected. You can't necessarily shut it off. And so being able to like expand my capacity to hold that and to be vulnerable enough to keep creating and keep pouring out ideas and writing, even when all those things were happening in my head, that helped me to finish and accomplish something I had been trying to do for a decade. Why did it change? Why was I able to finally do it in shorter than I ever thought that I could? Because I embraced the mess. I fully embraced the mess. I leaned into it, and it kind of just freed me. It freed me in a way I never thought it would. And I never even knew that I needed to be freed. Embracing the mess goes perfectly with the third and final tip that I have for you, which is play. So I think this is a fun one. As someone who is very invested in my own inner work journey and just healing and tapping into my own feminine energy, I really believe that play is so essential for us. And one thing I realized as I was doing this writing journey is that I had lost a lot of that sense of play, even though my heart was calling me to create and tell all these stories, and I kept getting all these ideas. When I went to do it, I kind of went into it with this very rigid idea of what things had to look like. And that can be hard when you have this deep desire and have been suppressing it for however long you have been. It can kind of get built into this big deal in your head and can kind of add this like heaviness, seriousness, a pressure, maybe like an urgency. It just starts to bog you down or feel kind of heavy. I think play is so important to bring back up that lightness, bring that like just playful, light, feminine energy with this, and allow that inner little girl to play and be whimsical and have fun and receive more of those creative ideas and not judge them so harshly. And that really was like an act of self-love for me. It's also just about your healing and your own inner work journey to allow yourself to unblock as a writer was something that you feel called to do. And I can't think of a better way to heal than to give yourself that permission to play and to realize it's not that serious all the time. You can just have fun. You can just be silly. You can be mysterious. You can play around with the different sides of yourself through your writing, through your imagination. There's so many stories of writers that I look up to that I hear how many drafts that they do before you get the finished book in your hands, or all these different characters or ideas or plots that changed by the end of the publishing process, and the final product, the final book that you and I are reading in our hands has probably been edited and changed and reworked so many times, but we forget that. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to have it right, to get it right the first time. And so I just want to encourage you to allow your natural sense of play to come out, because she's in there and she has been waiting. And I think we have a leg up as, creative writers with all these different ideas for stories and using words in an imaginative way or conveying different things that we're thinking about in an engaging way. Getting those things out of your head and onto the page, like that's such a great way to play in life. Allow that sense of play to guide you and help you kind of heal out of your self-consciousness, that tight feeling of holding in your desires and your creativity. Maybe in the past you were judged, maybe in the past you've judged yourself or been too scared to seem weird or to seem silly or embarrass yourself somehow. It's kind of like dancing. In my head, I think of dancing like if you go somewhere to dance, I guess the club. Imagine there's a dance floor, everyone's circled around it, and someone goes into the middle and they perform this super intricate ballet. It's great to watch, but is anyone gonna go on the dance floor and join them? Probably not. Versus a woman who comes to the dance floor and she hears the music and she's just dancing freely and smiling, she's having fun, she's not thinking so much about it, she's just playing and being in the moment. People are going to come on the dance floor, they're going to join in, they're going to feel inspired and magnetized to her energy because she is playing, and we love that. We're drawn to that. And so just know that that's going to draw your dream readers, your dream audience, even your dream ideas and creations to you when you're in that authentic, playful energy. When you apply these tips, it's going to make your writing sessions feel so much easier, so much better. Or if you haven't even started writing or you've taken a long break like I did, it's gonna help you start again and get back into that, and also help you write consistently. It's going to bring up your confidence, bring up your energy, give you that sparkle, and just turn your life force energy back on by connecting to that creative energy within you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that those tips helped you. I would love to know which one resonated with you the most and what you are working on and what you are hoping to create. Also, ladies, I am now offering Write With Me sessions as well as one-on-one coaching. Both are super exciting for me, a little bit different, so I will leave the links down below and you can go check them out and read the descriptions for yourself. I will be seeing you here on YouTube again very soon. Let me know if there's any other topics you want me to go deeper into, but in conclusion, I just hope that you have a wonderful day and that you go create, go write, and believe in yourself.